Dear students, in the previous class we have seen what is pointer and what are the ways of declaring the pointer. So in today's class, we'll be having a look on the advantages. Before going to advantages, let us take a quick recap on the definition of the pointers that we have seen. So we defined the pointers as pointer is a kind of a variable or a type of a variable that holds the memory address of another variable of same type. That means pointers will not store the data values. Instead, they will store the values that are addresses of another variable. So let us move to the advantages. The advantages of the pointers are it helps us to develop efficient programs. So programs are very much efficient in terms of execution because we are directly dealing with the addresses. Memory is utilized properly with the help of dynamic allocation and deallocation, where utilization of the memory is being done by new and delete operator. When the program requires some memory, it will be allocated by the new operator and deallocated during the lifespan of the program finishes. So that is new and delete operator will take place in the dynamic allocation. So it is very much easier to deal with even the hardware components also because we are working directly with the addresses again. So again the same point, because we are establishing direct contact with the memory addresses, so communication between the program and the data is very much efficient. That is directly we know where the data is residing in the program. Moving forward, we will go to the pointers operator. So there are two types of operator that we are going to deal with the pointer. The first operator that we are going to deal with is a address operator. We will also call it as address of operator. The next operator is indirection operator, also known as pointer operator. This we have seen already in the pointer declaration. Now coming to the first operator that we have is the address of operator. The address of operator is denoted by the symbol ampersand, and it is a unary type of operator. That means unary means works on only one operand. Operand here can be variable, constants, or any data value. So unary operator works only on one value. So the addresses of operator returns the memory address of its operand. So what it returns? What is the functionality of address of operator? The functionality of address of operator is to return the memory address where the particular variable is residing. So that is the work of the address of operator. So we have variable name, that is num in the example. The value that is stored under the num is 10, and the address where the variable num is residing is 1000. That is where it is residing. So the values are going to be depicted like this. Num is equals to 10, which is referred to be the R value of the variable. Now if I write the address of operator, as you can see, ampersand num is equals to, that is address where the variable is residing is 1000. So this is how the address operator will fetch the address or memory location of where the values are being stored or located. Now let us go to the another operator, that is second operator, pointer declaration and initialization, that we were using the pointer operator, and we will see how the address of operator will also affect. So this syntax we have already seen in the declaration of the pointers: data type, asterisk, pointer name. So the asterisk over here or pointer operator here denotes that the variable that is been followed is the pointer. It's not a normal variable that can store the values. Instead, this pointer is going to store the addresses of the variable. Example, we have declared different types of pointers over here, that is int, asterisk, x, belonging to integer data type. So x can store address of integer type of value, and y belonging to the floating type, we have declared a pointer. The pointer y can store address of the particular variable belonging to the float type. The character z pointer is been declared. Z can store the address of character type of values. So this is how the addresses will be stored with respect to the particular or the same data type. Next, talking about the address operator, we have already seen the definition. So it's a unary operator that returns the address of its operand. So here the operand is a normal variable what we have taken in the example. So we'll take the syntax. Return type, whatever we had over there is the address for the particular address of operator. So the syntax is pointer name, that is pointer what we have declared in the pointer declaration, is equals to variable name, that is from where I need to access the address of the particular variable. Let us take an example. Int x is equals to 10. I have declared a variable x and assigned it to the value called 10. Now considering the example, we have taken the next statement, that is int asterisk ptr is equals to address of x. This is how the pointers are initialized. So this is declaration and initialization in the single statement. Now ptr will contain the address where the variable x is stored in the memory. So I have taken just an example of the memory. So if x storing a value called 10, the memory address of x is stored in the ptr, that is 0x, that is hexadecimal code, 5F0FF2 is the memory address where the x is residing, that is the memory address of x is being stored under the ptr. So this is the pointer initialization that we have taken in the example. In coming slides you will see other examples also. So how do we write the pointers over here in the main method when we have different types of variables which are depicted over here? See in the example, in the void main we have declared a variable a belonging to integer type, assigning the value called 3, and there are two pointers that have been declared belonging to integer type, ptr and pptr, where the pointer operator indicates it's a pointer type. So ptr is equals to address of a. We have assigned the ptr is equals to the address of the variable where a is residing. So from the diagram you can see a stores a value 3 residing at an address 2001. Then the statement ptr is equals to address of a, that is ptr is equals to address of a. The address of a is 2001. The value that is stored under the ptr is 2001. That is been given by the initialization. As you know, the pointers will only store the addresses of the variable. They cannot store the normal values. Next, we have declared the other pointer in the same declaration statement, that is pptr. The pptr is equals to address of ptr, that is where the ptr is residing. ptr is residing at a address called 4001. So pptr is assigned to address of ptr. So address of ptr is 4000. The value that is stored under pptr is 4001. So apart from storing the value pptr storing the value 4001, the pptr also has the value 6001 as its own address that we have not referred to any variable in the example. So this is how the pointers are being used. So a pointer can point to another pointer also. A pointer can point to a variable. Like in this example, the pointer pptr is pointing to the address of a, but pptr pointer is pointing to address of a pointer called ptr. So a pointer can point to the address of another pointer also, or a pointer can point to address of a variable also, that you can see in the example. The next programming snippet that we are going to see again to understand in a better manner how the pointers will work is int marks is equals to 100. So the variable is declared here, pointer is declared p1 and pointer p2 is been declared. How do you identify it is a pointer? By the means of asterisk before the variable name or the name of the pointer. So here marks is not a pointer because it is not declared with the asterisk or pointer operator symbol. So marks is a variable storing value called 100 that you can see. So we have considered according to the high-end compiler, it will occupy 4 bytes of memory space. So 4 bytes of memory space starting from 2002 to 2005 we have allocated memory space for the marks which stores the value called 100. So P1 is assigned to the address of marks. So P1 is a pointer that we have declared here. It has its own address called 3002. The P1 is pointing to the address of marks. What is the address of marks? You cannot say address of marks is 1004, 1003 or 1005. You should always refer to the starting address of the marks or some variable where it is beginning with. So the address of marks is 1002. So P1 will store the address of marks by this statement where pointer is been initialized with address of operator. So P1 will store the value 2002. So that is the value stored in the P1. Now in the next statement you can see P2 is assigned to, P2 is given the value, P2 is assigned to the value of P1. What is the value of P1? The value of P1 is nothing but what is stored inside the box, inside the value. We are not referring to the address of P1, we are referring to the value of P1 because we have not used the ampersand operator. This clears the concept. What is that clarity that we are trying to take away? Is when the ampersand operator is been used, we will be referring to the address. When no ampersand operator is used, directly we will use is equals to and the variable name, we will be referring to the R value of the variable. Now clearing the concept, P1 having two types of value, L value and R value. Can anybody tell me the L value and R value of P1? Yes, the L value of P1 is 3002. The R value of P1 is 1002. Okay, so P1's R value is been assigned to P2 by the normal initialization what you have studied in your first year. When I say int a is equals to 10 comma b and I say b is equals to a, what is the value of b? B value is the value of a, that is equals to 10. Similarly, I am saying you p is equals to p1, sorry, p2 is equals to p1, p2 value will be assigned to p1 value, that is the value that you can see in the example. Okay, this snippet will remove the confusion between normal operation that we are doing in the programming and with the ampersand operator we are referring to the address of the particular variables. Taking another example to be very much clear, because if you are clear with this concept then you can move ahead and study other things. Integer type of variable x has been declared, initialized to the value called 12. So x has been declared, initialized to value called 12. As you know, once the variable is declared, it will have L value and R value. R value is already given, that is 12, and L value is, we have assumed it as 1000. In the next two statements we have pointer PTR declared. So pointer has been declared and the pointer has been initialized with ampersand operator. So it is initialized with address of x. What is the address of x? The address of x is 1000, that is stored under the pointer PTR. Okay, this we are trying to convince you about the example. So because PTR holds the address of x, we can say PTR points to x. Okay, so we are saying that it is pointing to the value called x. Now in the next class we will be discussing about indirection operator. So indirection operator is another phase of pointer operator. Now you are sure with the pointer operator in the first statement. When the pointer operator is declared, now I'll tell you here, this is pointer operator. This is denoting the declaration of the pointer. So int asterisk here PTR denotes that it's a pointer. So it is a pointer declaration statement. Now this is the first time when it appears with the data type. It acts like a pointer operator. Now when it appears after the declaration, next time when it appears, it acts like an indirection operator. So in the next class, we'll see what is the difference between the pointer operator and what is the difference between indirection operator with examples and clarifying the difference between the pointer operator and the indirection operator. Thank you.